Tonight's guests include Monongahela, David Ellis, and Mike Mullen.
Looking back on the life that you're leaving, let it rest in a hole in the ground. Stick around for the great revealing, or the fire you've been dancing around. All we hear is the sound of retreating. No one cares where you're coming from. My ears are still ringing and bleeding. I guess we all knew from the start. These are the days my heart goes numb. You know, one of these days will be the one. Looking for answers. Oh, what a disaster. These are the days my heart goes numb. My heart goes numb. Breathing the fumes of the ashes, the spirits light up the night, looking down the ash of
We're live from the Untold Radio Network. It's Untold Radio AM with Monster Quest producer, host Doug Hajicek, and co-host Jeff Perrella Jr. Untold Radio AM is going live right now. This show is for entertainment purposes only. Yep, that's the ticket. Now here are your Untold Radio AM hosts, Doug Hajicek and Jeff Perrella Jr.
And here we are. Hello, everyone.
And hello, Jeff Perrella.
Hello,
Jr.,
Mr. Doug.
better known as the Big
The Big
Ragu.
Ragu. That's Mr. Ragu to you.
Mr. Ragu. Hello, all of the Untoldians, and happy birthday to Minxie.
Oh, Minxie, happy birthday.
Yeah, see, we're paying attention here. I just got to take a nice deep breath. I got into the studio and, of course, turned the lights on. Both of them burned out.
Never
like
ends.
The timing. So anyhow, I found some ring lights. And we're still going.
The show must go on. We always figure it out.
Yeah, we always figure it out. We have a pretty powerful lineup tonight, I think. We have a guest, Mike Mullen. Not sure if it's Mullins or just Mike Mullen. I think Mike Mullen.
I think you're right.
And he is going to be sharing multiple encounters during his childhood that are really amazing.
Yeah.
And they tie into something that me and David Ellis, another guest tonight, are studying. And then we're supposed to be joined also by Monongahela, another sound expert, who I don't believe he's done any other podcasts.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. And
we haven't had him on for sure before I know that.
No, we never have. No, I don't think he's done any. David, nod your head if you think Monongahela has done podcasts.
Okay.
He has? Oh, okay. Not many, though. I've never seen one. And then what else we have? We're going to be diving in other new territories in sound tonight. And then we've got our regular features, got a tech breakdown.
Tech breakdown, yeah. We haven't had one of those in a while.
No, it's been a little while. Well, they're hard to, you can't come up with an endless amount of technology to throw at this mystery.
Yeah.
It is somewhat limited, but when new things pop up and I hear about new things or I get an idea and then look it up and find out, oh, that is a thing.
This is a pretty cool one.
We'll share it. Yeah, it's kind of cool. And we're going to skip clip picks tonight because we have such a full show.
Yeah, a lot to talk about.
lot to talk about. So, yeah, get into that comfy chair. Unlike me, who had to turn lights up, you need to turn yours down. Grab that comfy chair. You got to remove the dog from the chair or the cat.
Yeah.
Take their chair. You can put them on your lap. Grab a pillow. Grab your favorite snack, beverage, dim the lights, and buckle in, I guess, for maybe it's going to get a little chilly tonight with what we're going to be talking about.
Speaking of, we got snow here last night. What the heck is going on?
Okay, so we've gone from the ping pong weather. We've got 80s one day.
Yeah.
And I looked out the window last night, and there was snow on the ground.
Yeah, crazy.
Covered,
I woke up this
completely
morning.
covered. And we still have snow. I mean, some of it's melted, a lot of it has, but there's still snow out there. And
Crazy.
it's going to be in the 80s again this week.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure ready for spring and summer. It's been,
I don't like these contrasts.
No.
Ugh. So anyhow, well, this is episode 294, and let's get it underway.
All right.
Jeff?
I think we should probably do some weird and fast news first. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a really good pick.
Yeah.
You're brilliant.
Let's do it. Why not? How about some weird and
why
fast
not?
news? Okay, here we go.
It's time for weird and fast news. Yeah! It's time for weird and fast news.
Should we do it really fast? Okay, first off, I thought this
Galaxies
was
look fast.
pretty cool. Kind of reminds me of DNA.
Mm-hmm.
These are entire galaxies. They found a chain of 20 linked, and they're linked galaxies. It says astronomers have identified massive structures in deep space, a chain of 20 galaxies. Now, how big is a galaxy, Jeff? They're light years across.
Thousands of light years across. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big.
But when you pull out like this and you look at it through a telescope, they look small, right?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of these things being randomly scattered, these galaxies appear connected, possibly tracing part of the cosmic web, the invisible structure believed to be the shape the universe. And what makes the discovery even stranger is how organized it looks. The alignment is tighter than expected, suggesting gravity and dark matter may be structuring the universe in a more precise way. It looks like the belt I'm wearing.
Yeah, it's an actual,
Galaxy, my
actual
galaxy.
photograph.
My galaxy belt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, what's next? Oh, this is weird. Ants apparently perform life-saving surgery on each other. Scientists have observed a species of ants that perform amputations on injured nestmates to prevent deadly infections. We just leave it right there
Yeah.
so you don't start itching. It says when an ant is wounded, others assess the damage and will bite off a limb if it improves their survival chances. Even more impressive, they don't do this randomly. They appear to evaluate the injured and only act when it's beneficial. It's one of the clearest examples of complex targeted medical behavior in insects.
That's pretty amazing.
Well, that is weird.
Yeah.
Little battlefield surgeons.
Medic. It's crazy.
Gosh. Well, I once used ants when I was in spelunking in Belize and tore my shirt. And Pete Zabrinski said, "Oh, we'll fix that right up." And he grabbed ants and then he stapled, they bit the fabric, held it together, and they bit it immediately. And he literally, I had a bunch of ant heads holding my shirt together.
Yep. I've actually seen emergency stitches done that way, using ant heads to hold, a cut together on skin. Pretty amazing.
Yeah, well, you haven't lived till you've been stitched up with ant heads.
Yeah, it's a real thing. It's crazy.
Oh my God! But the way they would viciously bite the fabric, I'll never forget that. I'm thinking, ooh. Next we have new human cell discovered during pregnancy. Researchers have discovered a previously unknown type of human cell that only appears during pregnancy. This cell helps regulate the immune system, preventing the body from rejecting a developing fetus. The finding could change how we understand complications like miscarriage and preeclampsia. It also highlights how the human body can temporarily create an entirely new biological system, unlike building a custom organ or pregnancy and then removing it afterwards. And did you know of the latest discovery that's kind of linked to fetuses? And I didn't know this until yesterday, that they're discovering that human urine has tons of stem cells.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Okay, like 20,000 stem cells. But anyhow, and the reason it's in the urine, I guess, is because when a baby's in the womb, it's urinating, and a lot of it escapes into the
sure,
this internal system, and they end up drinking it and breathing it in, and it helps them develop their organs. Wow. The urine does. So they looked at it and they found all these stem cells. They said that there could be up to $20,000 in stem cells in every urination.
Wow.
Yeah, depending obviously on who you are. I'm sure I'm down to $50.
$1.20.
Yeah, $1.20. But anyhow, this is something new I heard yesterday, and I went, "Ooh, that is really promising." And apparently, they can culture. If you take your urine, don't do this. Don't try this at home. Take your urine, and you can culture it. And
should I play the disclaimer first before you?
Yeah, please. Before I do this, yes. You can culture urine stem cells, and they multiply in the urine after it's out of you. So then I could get mine from 50 cents up to like 75, $1.50. If I just leave it, put it in a bottle. There you go.
So start staving it, sure.
Yeah, stay tuned for more urine facts. Yes.
Put it in your deposit box in the bank.
Yeah.
Save it for later.
But no one's serious about the money. They said some people are peeing out up to $20,000 in stem cells.
Wow.
So I don't know. Who knows?
That sounds like a good job. I should look into that. Get paid to pee? Or not?
Drink beer?
Yeah. I'd be good at that job.
Okay, next. Whale communication works like language. Okay, well, duh. New research shows that sperm whales communicate using clicking sounds that follow structured patterns similar to human language. I thought we already knew this. These clicks aren't random. They form sequences that may function like words or phrases. Once again, I thought we knew this.
Yeah.
Scientists are now investigating whether whales have dialects or cultural variations between groups. Now, that would be interesting. If confirmed, it could mean whales possess one of the most complex communication systems ever discovered outside YouTube.
Well, we already know that orcas, killer whales, do that. There's at least 5 or 6 dialects, maybe more.
Really?
Completely different dialects. Yeah, different. They're fascinating. Different dialects, different diets based on their communities.
So
it's all learned behavior. It's not instinct.
So killer whales are like one's going, how's y'all blowhole? And they have a southern one, and then they have the Fargo accent.
Yeah, they do. They have different dialects, and they can't communicate with each other. It's pretty crazy.
All right. I wonder if dinosaurs have dialects. New dinosaur species found in the U.S. Paleontologists have identified a new species of dinosaur dating back to the Triassic period. It's kind of where I was born. Mm-hmm. In what is now New Mexico. These early dinosaurs were smaller and less specialized than their later descendants. Now, Jeff, you obviously took that picture.
Yeah, this morning.
Yeah. These early dinosaurs were were smaller and less specialized than their later descendants. Each new discovery helped fill the puzzle of how dinosaurs evolved and eventually dominated Earth. This one shows just how experimental early dinosaur evolution really was. So there you go. You got what, feathers, fur? What is that?
Most likely they did have feathers.
We got a nose ring and we got a
tattoos.
Teal hairdo there. Oh no, it's pretty colorful. And what do we got next? Scientists move closer to a diabetes cure, which is good news.
Yeah.
Researchers are making progress toward a potentially functional cure for type 1 diabetes, focusing on restoring the body's ability. It's probably done with urine.
And dinosaurs.
See, everything goes full circle here in Untold.
Mm-hmm. They learned it from sperm whales.
Yeah. Type 1 diabetes, focusing on restoring the body's ability to produce insulin instead of managing the disease. If successful, this approach could eliminate the need for dangerous injections. It's part of a larger shift in medicine from treating symptoms to actually reversing conditions. I won't hold my breath.
That would be something. No, that would change a lot of lives.
It would, but I'm not holding my breath. This is interesting. It's just what we need, Jeff. Sand batteries.
Yeah.
Sand battery could be a new way to store renewable energy. Engineers are testing a battery made from sand that stores heat generated by renewable energy sources. The system heats sand with energy that's abundant and then releases that heat when it's needed. Well, what are we talking here? It looks like that big, right? Giant. We're not talking.
I think so.
We're not talking double A's here.
No.
Okay. And I'm like, yeah, let's move on.
Next.
I like my double A's. AI surgeons AI is struggling with medical imaging. Despite rapid advances, researchers found that AI still has limitations when analyzing medical scans like X-rays and MRIs. In some cases, it misses subtle but critical details. Imagine that.
Weird. Yeah, who'd have thought?
We all know how much AI suddenly hallucinates.
Mm-hmm.
It's so weird when it does. I had it tell me something the other day that it's been doing for me forever, and it just goes, oh, no, we can't do that.
Oh, weird.
I'm like, well, you do it all the time. And I'm like, what's the problem? And then I just rebooted it, and it worked fine.
Which AI were you using?
I think Grok.
Grok?
Yeah,
I've had better
sure
luck with Grok than anything else.
I think Grok.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, my AI now talks to me.
Oh, I didn't do that. Yeah.
Oh, mine just started talking to me.
Oh, really? You didn't tell it to?
I didn't know. It just started talking to me. Kind of freaked me out one night.
Yeah, I bet.
I was sitting there. And I think what was I doing? Oh, I had TV on in the background, and it was answering the TV.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, the talking on the TV.
I've had some pretty wild conversations with AI. It's interesting stuff.
Yeah, okay. It says this shows that AI is not ready to replace doctors. Instead, it's becoming a tool that still requires human oversight, especially in high-stakes fields like medicine, where accuracy is everything.
Kind of important.
Yeah, and you got to get this next thing here, Jeff. This will keep you... See, it'll measure the stem cells.
Yeah, just
how many you got. See? Everything's tying together in full circle here tonight.
It's all about pee.
Yeah. Smart toilets are becoming health monitors. Scientists have developed AI-powered toilets that can analyze urine. See, we're right back to urine again. And stool for signs of disease. I don't think I'd want that. Oh, gosh. It's like, well, these systems use sensors and imaging. Oh, my God, they're going to take They're gonna image your stool.
If AI's smart enough, someday it'll be like, how did I get this job? What the heck?
Yeah. Could you imagine it taking pictures of your stool? It says the system uses sensors and imaging to detect conditions like dehydration, infections, and even cancer markers. The goal is passive health monitoring. They just want to steal the stem cells.
Yeah, probably.
Turning,
DNA.
see, it's a plot. Turning everyday routines into diagnostic tools. It may sound strange, but this kind of technology could catch health problems earlier than ever before.
Wow.
Potentially saving lives. There we go. Okay.
Enough about urine.
That came up like 3 times. That's just, what do we got? Weird fact of the week?
I think it's time for a weird fact of the week. Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, good idea.
It's now time for Untold Radio Weird Fact of the Week. That is kind of weird.
How's your rip?
Sorry. It's good. I got busted, didn't I?
Delightful rip here. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, it's really good. Ice cold. Oh, what do we have here this week? I like this. How your body replaces itself. And I think your skeleton replaces itself every 10 years. You get a brand new skeleton, Jeff.
Yeah.
What if it's different?
It is. You're not the same person you were when you were born. That's true. Almost all your cells are replaced. Almost.
It says your body is constantly rebuilding itself in ways most people never realize. Your skin replaces itself every few weeks. That's free. I don't even believe it. Every few weeks you have
That
all
doesn't
these.
sound right, but
No. See? It messes up on medical stuff. They just talked about that. But
it does replace itself. That's true.
yeah, well, I know it does, but every few weeks.
I don't think that's right.
Why do we have like an Edgar suit that we wear and we just unzip it? It says your gut lining every few days. And even your bones are slowly renewed over time. In fact, within 7 to 10 years.
Yep.
Hang on. I got to hit the burp button.
A root beer burp?
The root beer burp? No, I'm good. It says it's like your body is quietly remodeling itself nonstop, piece by piece. But here's where it gets strange. Your brain doesn't follow the same rules. Most of the neurons, the cells that store your memories, personality, and identity, stay with you for life. There it comes. I did my burp. Yeah, I knew it was coming. Do you see how polite that burp was? It was more like, it was like that. Let's see here. What else? It says that means parts of your brain have been there since childhood, holding on to your experiences while the rest of your body has been completely swapped out. So there you go.
Yeah.
Jeff, you got an old frickin' brain.
I do.
Yeah.
Doesn't work as good as it used to.
But we can renew it with some of those uratic stem cells.
I'll start saving.
Saving. Yeah. Get yourself a big, one of those big Fleet Farm storage tanks.
Yeah. Start saving it. Sure. Why not?
Oh my God. What do we want to do next? Who do we have in the back row? Oh, we have Michael.
Yep.
We have David. Let's do tech breakdown real quick, and then we'll bring David and Michael on.
I use the cough button for natural cough. All right. Tech breakdown. Here we go.
And tonight we're going to talk about LoRa. Not Laura, LoRa. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you get a chance to read this about LoRa?
It did. It's pretty cool.
All right. So what we're going to talk tonight is about a mesh node kit. Okay, now what would you want a mesh node kit for? They, as they call it, mesh-tastic node kit, right? Mesh-tastic. But what this is for is monitoring. Okay, this is for, like, if you are working with a bunch of researchers and you've got a big tract of land and you want to track movement, this could do it. You literally could get alerts on all of the movement of these creatures through all sorts of sensors that these, $50 nodes can attach to, from thermal cams, PIR sensors, audio recorders that can record and notify you of, any weird abnormal sounds like wood knocking. It could be a lot of weird things. So these aren't real terribly cheap. I mean, you got to buy the sensors, you got to buy the nodes. But the main thing I want to do is just anybody interested, like Area X would be a great example.
Yeah, perfect place for it.
Yeah, perfect place for a system like this. And they may already be using something. I would figure they are probably. But it can provide a lot of data on animal movement. I believe because you can even hook thermal cameras. I mean, you can do some amazing monitoring remotely because they talk to satellites. That's what's cool. You don't need wireless. So you don't have to worry about that. Everything's satellite. So you have to get a subscription to the satellite service. You're going to pick out your sensors and you're going to use a whole bunch. But for about $2,000 to $3,000, you can have a system, a mesh system with, 10 nodes running. So it's kind of cool.
Really cool.
And I should probably read some of my own damn notes. It's really neat. It's not that complicated.
Brendan just texted me. He's got one of these set up, so we can quiz. We can have a
what?
Yeah, we can quiz him about it. He's got one.
He does.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, good for you.
Yeah.
And they call it a mesh network, but you can hook AI cameras, DNA sampling. Literally, these things are adaptable to DNA sampling machines, thermal cams, acoustic sensors, and PIR.
He's got it set up. He's got it set up for cameras and communication. So
very cool.
So you can have kind of a communication network that independent of the cell network. It's pretty cool.
But at $40 to $50 for a node, it's not that much money. They have, low power use because they're not like using batteries all the time. They can last up to a year, the battery, in each one of these nodes.
Pretty cool.
Obviously, less time if it's cold, right?
Yeah.
But that's it. That's all I wanted to talk about. Just get the name out there. And maybe you could copy and paste the actual serial number, Jeff, from your notes, and then people can refer back to chat, or you can even put it in the comments
of the
unit, the ESP32 LORA Mesh-tastic node kit.
Got it.
They also call it, I love their names, Meshnology.
Mesh-tastic. Yeah, that's
Meshnology. It's a new word. All right. Enough of that crap, as they say on the Untold Radio Network time and time again. I am ready to bring David.
Ready for David to come on?
Yep, Michael Mullen. Right. And welcome. We can bring on Monongahela too.
All right. You want an intro real quick?
Do you want me to intro them? I'll intro them after you bring them on.
Okay. Well, here they all come. Welcome, David. Welcome, Michael, and welcome, I'm not sure how to say it. Monongahela. Thank you. Yes. Hey, everybody.
Hey. So, can we call you by your first name, Monongahela?
Yeah, you can call me Devin.
Oh, hi, Devin. How are you? It's good to see you again.
Great, thank you.
All right. So Devin is a sound expert. And as I remember, Devin spent a lot of time with David, correct, David? And teaching you your craft in sound analysis and spectrogram. And I don't know what else. God knows. So what I want you to do, Devin, before we get, because this is all going to tie together. All you guys are going to tie together. And hi, Mike. It's really good to see you. And thank you.
Mike, I think your mic is muted.
Yeah, I see the mute. It's at the bottom.
It's not muted on my end, I don't think.
No. There you go.
There we go.
Yep, now I hear you.
Thanks,
Doug, I don't
Mike.
want to hijack the show, but
I wish I was muted.
I'm going to.
Go.
Devin has got some expert credentials, which we, as most researchers in the Bigfoot community, do not have.
Right.
And that is what really attracted me to Devin. He's on par with Scott Nelson as far as the moniker cryptolinguist. But Devin went through different training methodologies, and he can go into that. But he's an expert where I'm just an observer, and I have to run it by the expert, which I have done over the last 16 years. Devin's really took me under his wing and kind of really taught me the ropes. I know, don't shake your head.
Give yourself more credit, David. You really helped me get started in this line of research.
Yeah, but it was your expertise that carried the day. So I just wanted to get that out there that, he's not going to pat himself on the back, but I'm going to pat him on the back. So
it's teamwork. So
I have a feeling, Devin, that David polluted your mind with mysterious creatures running around in the forest, right?
Not really. I was kind of drawn a little bit to the potential of Bigfoot before I met David a couple of years before. And I started doing a little of my own research, and it led me into audio analysis. And I just happened to come across David, and he had a great collection of recordings that he gave me access to early on, and I was able to use that as part of my research project. Yeah,
David, you're up to about 8,500.
Oh gosh, I'm
plus
a lot more than that. That was a couple of years ago. But a lot of the files are repeated, but I still have thousands that are individual, and I still have long-term recordings. Most of what you've seen are just clips, but I've got recordings that were done throughout the night.
Yeah.
So, and
right,
over years,
you have the master files.
Yes. Yes. And ran across Devin through the BFRO. We were both in the BFRO at the same time, and I started listening to some of the things that Devin was saying, and so I thought, I wonder if he'd be interested in a few clips. So I sent him his way, and yeah, he was.
Yeah, definitely.
Very interesting. Can you tell us anything about your job, Devin, that you had?
Sure. And if you've heard anything about Scott Nelson, he and I were basically in the same career path. Although Scott was an officer in the Navy and a cryptolinguist for the Navy, and I believe he did a full 30-year career. I was a cryptolinguist, not an officer. I was enlisted in the Air Force. And I just did 7 years in the Air Force as a cryptolinguist. But we both go to the same training school. Back then, it was the Defense Language Institute out in Monterey, California.
Okay.
That school's no longer where all the training happens. But in that career field, you're trained in a foreign language. You're trained in audio and collection and analysis skills. And where I went through and I learned one language and then spent, 6 years working in the field in the Air Force, doing that job as a cryptolinguist. Scott learned, I believe, 5 languages, and did that for most of his career, I would assume, in the Navy over his 30-year career. And so that's what we have in common. And that's really the nut of what our basic skills are built upon. And when I left the Air Force in 1991, I set those skills aside. I went off, became a defense contractor. I'm computer systems engineering, have been for decades. And I did not even think about audio analysis or linguistics for a couple of decades, really. And it wasn't until about 2008 when I was just going through the internet, I came across the BFRO's website, and I saw they had a collection of audio that they ascribed to being Sasquatch vocalizations. And I thought, okay, I'll listen to these. And just going through it, I could tell, there are a few things in here I do not think are Sasquatch. And it piqued my interest enough. And I reached out, I got a hold of a couple of investigators. I had actually had my own strange encounter while camping in the forest in the 90s. And I reported that to the BFRO. They showed some interest in me, and it kind of built into a relationship. And through that relationship, I started to do research, not so much in the reports that people were providing to the BFRO, but in the audio captures that the BFRO had and that other captures that were coming in. And through that chain of events, I met David, and he gave me this catalog of audio. I got really serious about researching the audio and doing different types of analysis on it to try to prove one way or the other. Is there something out there unknown to us that's making these sounds, or are these sounds coming from animals that we already know here in North America?
Have you come to a percentage conclusion that's, that you can put into any kind of terms that we can understand, Devin? On whether these things are real or not real, in your opinion?
Sure, my opinion strictly, and I won't put a number on it, but I'm convinced they exist. And it's not just because of the audio. Because I became a BFRO investigator, I started doing expeditions. I did my own solo expeditions at times, and I was able to validate some of the things that I've been hearing from the community. And then I had more events, and more things occur that were in sync with what others were observing. And I think one of the things that really sealed it for me is I learned how to mimic their calls closely enough that I could actually get a return response from them. And I'm not talking about those big moan howls that people like to do. I highly discourage doing that. In
right.
fact.
Do you have any, I don't want to interrupt you, but do you have any things that you've heard, Devin, that you kind of keep to yourself? You don't even want them out there. Some feature, some little thing that's, your property that you can use to identify sounds, other sounds.
Yeah, there are a few features that there's a small group of us who are really into this type of audio analysis. And I've recognized a few features that are recurring in what I call high probability Sasquatch vocalizations. And we keep those close to our chest because there's a lot of hoaxers out there. And I've received innumerable numbers of hoaxed audio clips over the years. And I realized quickly that if we shared everything that we've learned with the world, people would quickly master those signals, those authenticators, and we'd start hearing authenticating signals in hoaxed audio.
Yeah.
So yeah, we don't share everything that we've learned.
Right.
But we have learned some things that are very consistent patterns. And that's what helps us differentiate between this is quite possibly a Sasquatch versus a coyote or a wolf or things like that.
Well, one question, and maybe you're the one to ask. like the whales, they said they've detected in killer whales dialect. Has there ever been anything like that at all from, a southern Bigfoot to a Canadian Bigfoot that you've detected? Like it's similar but different, and you've seen consistent patterns?
There are certain things that are very common, and then certain things that are unique. And I'll say the common signals are much more in number than the unique signals are.
Okay.
For example, whoops and wood knocks occur all across the continent, from Florida to Alaska, East Coast to West Coast. That's common lingua franca for the Sasquatch. In terms of unique signals, there are places where, such as in Michigan, there's a particular type of howl that I've correlated with two family units, potential family units of Sasquatch in the lower peninsula of Michigan. And that howl I only hear it in that area of Michigan, and it's very unique sounding. And I've never heard it from any other recordings anywhere across North America. So there may be little local signals that the local groups use. And then there are definitely those signals that are used, nationwide.
David, any comments on that?
Just a little bit added to it. There's certain variations within like a whoop. You might hear something with a whoop and a wood knock that are paired together. They're obviously paired together in this specific group that you're studying, but it's not everywhere else. And then there's just the variation of the whoop itself. There's double whoops and sounds that are amalgamated, if you will, just a little bit different tenor. Most whoops are in a high pitch, but I've got some recordings that are in a very low pitch. So just variations. And that to me means we're dealing with something that's physically real.
Yeah.
We're not dealing with something that is, because if it was made up, everything would be absolutely 100% the same. A wood knock would sound like two baseball bats being struck together all the time, and they're not.
Okay. Well, so here's a question. Everybody always says Bigfoot, anecdotal. Are these sound recordings more than anecdotal evidence? In other words, is it possible through consistent, distinct, non-identifiable recordings we could get closer to proving this creature's existence? Devin, what do you think?
I think it already has been. Everybody ignores it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I think that's the question doesn't even need to be asked.
Yeah.
That's already been proven. People just ignore it like they ignore everything else. So
Exactly.
well, we don't even need to ask that question. It's already been taken care of.
But out of respect to Doug's question, I do have an answer for that. And there are many things that we know or can know through the inference of evidence supporting the existence of that.
Right.
And that's what we learn as cryptolinguists, is that you don't need to see it to know that it's there. If it gives off a signal, that signal can be indicative of its presence. And so when you're talking about something that you have precious little visual evidence for, like the Sasquatch, you have to build up a case, and in this case, a lexicon for the existence of that thing. All creatures, I shouldn't say all, but most creatures communicate for the purpose of reproduction, safety, gathering food, what have you. And the Sasquatch should be no different from that. So working from that hypothesis, the Sasquatch needs to communicate. Communication happens through a series of well-known signals between members of a group. Those signals collectively are called a lexicon. So early on in my research, I realized, okay, there has to be a lexicon here. Let's spend time studying and focusing on what that is. Over the years, I've been able to build up a lexicon of somewhere between 20 and 24 signals or characters, features that I expect to hear at some point in these analyses.
Wow.
And it's come to a point for me where I was listening to audio and I was like, well, this could possibly be, but I needed sort of a litmus test. So I came up with what I call the rule of three, and I apply it for myself. I need to hear three elements of that lexicon in a recording before I can say, okay, that's a high probability Sasquatch vocal. If I hear two elements, it's okay, it's a maybe strong maybe. If I hear one element, it's like a possible, but who knows? And that rule of three has worked out for me very well over the years.
Devin, you taught me early on in sound analysis the utilization of a spectrogram.
Right.
And the spectrogram, to me, is what is the fingerprint of sound, if you will, that identifies the subject that we are that we suspect it could be. Birds make a specific signature. Everything has their own look. Mm-hmm. So Sasquatches in certain sounds have a familiar look. Devin can look at a audio clip in a spectrogram and see like 4 or 5 distant whoops that nobody heard on the recording and go, there's a whoop. So I think, Devin, that's, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's when people send you audio, you're looking just as much as you are listening.
Yes. The spectrogram is an essential tool for analyzing audio. And what it basically does is it tunes your ears in even closer to what's going on in a clip, because not only do you hear what's happening, but you actually see what's happening in the spectrogram. And so there will be subtle signals in the background of an audio clip that your ears wouldn't normally pick up on and focus on, because we naturally just listen for the loudest thing in the room. But a spectrogram can show you, you know what, there's a little signal right there. It shows up as a bright spot in the spectrogram. Let me loop over that and listen to it.
Well, that spectrogram doesn't also put it into a different level from a known animal, where it could be higher and lower?
No, and that's a really good, that's a good question, because it's a common fallacy that people believe. Folks like to believe that different animals vocalize in different frequency ranges, different bands. Not true at all.
Not true. Okay, I was wondering.
Yeah, our frequency ranges all overlap. Okay, and basically the human auditory system is from as low as 80 hertz to as high as, God, I forget the top end, but it's well above the bird whistling registers. It's quite high. And, you know, David, maybe you remember what it is. But the majority of human vocalizations occur between, I want to say on the low end, around 300 hertz, maybe a little lower, up to falsettos, which are around 1100 hertz. And most vocalizers, animals, humans, what have you, also vocalize in that range. Now, they may be more comfortable in different parts of the range, but, you know, we have everything from very low-end singers, you know, deep bass, baritone voices, all the way up to falsettos, just in the human species. Other animals are capable of that too.
Well, I have two questions for you guys. Is there any way to tell vocal chord length based on any of the recordings that you guys hear, and do any of them come out bigger? You know, as holy crap, you can tell the weight. Like this came from an 800-pound animal versus a 200-pound man. Is that anything that you guys can detect, or no?
The answer is yes and no. I don't have the software.
Okay, but there is software for that.
Yes, I think John Andrews had some of his long-distance howls put through some tests, and they were outside certain parameters,
right?
But they weren't using a spectrogram to identify those. They had certain cues that they were looking for in their own specific software. I can't tell you what that software is, but it is something that higher education community does utilize.
Is it something,
Devin, you know?
No, I don't know that specifically, but I can give you some advice that's more accessible to the layman. There's this concept in communications, vocal communications, called, I believe it's conservation of energy or conservation of effort. And it has to do basically with the efficiency with which a voice can project over distance. Okay. The size of the animal has a direct effect on the size of the vocal cord or the sound reproduction. Smaller animals have smaller vocal cords, which generally are vocal folds, which generally create a higher pitch. And large animals have a much larger resonant cavity to make sound with, and so they create a much deeper pitch. Think of a bull, very big body, capable of very deep sounds. An elephant, tremendously sized body, very deep sounds. A songbird, very small body, very high-pitched sounds. So that's why when we hear big dogs barking, they have a deeper bark than a little chihuahua has a higher pitch bark. So that's just a truism across, sound production. And in that regard, you can tell something about the size of a vocalizer based on the general pitch or the general range that it's vocalizing in.
I think also the length too.
Yeah. In terms of lung capacity, I agree. Yeah.
We talked about that before. Absolutely.
Well, okay. I want to kind of switch back and forth, keep the show a little more interesting.
Sure.
Mike, it's so good to meet you. Did we talked on the phone? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. When about your encounters, do you want to just start the encounter stories of what happened when you were young? And
yeah, when I was young, and might have kind of continued over the years, like as they normally do. Yeah, I was very young. We moved out in the middle of nowhere, and we had a Bigfoot that was not very happy with us and came to my window over and over and over again. And but it would make this low noise, kind of like sticking your head in a beehive. And
the buzz.
Yeah, buzz. I would hear it. My dog would hear it. I had a big Saint Bernard, and they would climb up on my bed and lay across my belly, and so I wouldn't move. And it would come to my window, but it kind of made me feel calm. It was kind of strange, and I kind of put it off as kind of a dream over the years until my dad started talking about the encounters when I got a little bit older. And then I heard a few more encounters of people having the same thing. And then I knew what it was. And it was strange, but I've never quite heard the same thing, even in all the recordings that I've heard.
Well, so you would hear the sound, and then what would happen? Exactly. More details.
I would always hear it before. It was not happy, so it came around and kind of raised hell. It would bang on the house, break limbs off the trees, but I would hear the noise before that started, and it would kind of calm me. And then when it was kind of done raising hell, it would end up at my window. But I wasn't scared, didn't bother me. And after I left, I just went to sleep. It was just, it was kind of like it was like I said, just like putting your head in a beehive.
Could you do a comparison, Mike, about like hummingbirds, hummingbird wings? I'm sure you've heard many hummingbirds.
It was kind of close to that, but it was more like a beehive. It was just like if you had a big beehive that somebody stirred up, you put your ear to it. Yeah, that's what it sounded like.
Like a plural, like there were more than one bee.
Yeah. It was very, and it was close to the ones that that I've heard, but it was not as low tone.
Okay.
And it never stopped. It just always kept going. It would never started and stopped. It was constant.
All right. Then what did you end up seeing out of all these?
Oh, yeah, but yeah, it would always show up in my window. It was a big head. That was about it. Yeah. And with eyes. And it was. I can't even tell you how many times it happened, but it happened over and over and over and over again. But because of that noise, it didn't scare me, and it never bothered me. It was just kind of different.
Does anybody here know why a hum or a buzz like that would calm a person, David?
Well, I've heard it the only reason why I bring it up, because I heard a couple encounters. One was a lady that was sitting by a creek, and a Bigfoot with a baby came down to the creek to get a drink of water and was making a noise that sounded like a beehive.
Right.
And when I heard that encounter story, I went, holy crap. Okay, now I know.
Yeah, go ahead, David.
So there is a known fact in psychology that has studied this, that humming will produce serotonin and dopamine. And what that combination does is create a calming effect. So that's, if you want to know what the reason for this is, Mike stated it calmed him. I would like to also point out that he had a huge St. Bernard dog. And if anybody knows about St. Bernards, they're pretty darn protective.
Oh, she was my protector. Let me tell you.
Yeah. So you said that, Mike, that, correct me if I'm wrong, but she would lay on you in these circumstances.
Yep.
So
make sure
there was, so there was something going on, I think, with this particular sound. Now, what's also interesting, Mike, is you said that it was continuous. It didn't stop.
Didn't stop. Nope.
So, we all have to take a breath, right?
Yeah, this did not take a breath. It's like those videos you just sent me.
This kind of falls within the line of what Dr. Meldrum was proffering, that some of these long distance vocalizations that Sasquatches seem to produce are at great volume and lots of air, but they go for a long period of time, and suggesting that they have fully developed air sacs, which we had at one time, but we only have remnants now. But that gives them the ability. It's like a bagpipe, where you can take in air and squeeze air out in another format or a way of doing it, so that it could have a continuous sound.
Yeah, I agree, and I think it's kind of strange that at one time they want to kind of raise hell, but the second time they want to make sure that the younger ones aren't uncomfortable.
Yeah,
which tells me something actually cares.
Did you ever see the creature in the window and hear the buzzing?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
So the relationship between the buzzing and the creature, you're very positive.
Absolutely,
they were connected.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It
would always start about 10 minutes before. It would show up my window, and then when it left, it would stop.
Well, David, we just heard that Shoshone story. They would hear the buzz, and then they would put food out for the Sasquatches, which is pretty incredible.
Now, we have a tie to that through John Mayanzinski. So we need to do a little bit of homework, because somewhere along the line, somebody said that John is aware of this humming sound.
Yeah.
So I would like to hear it from him firsthand.
Now, Devin, you've had just literally, we just kind of dumped on you the other day some of these sounds. I don't know if you've had any thoughts on them at all yet, or you're planning on holding any comments until the future.
No, well, in my experience and based on the conversation we've had, I've not heard anything quite like what Mike's describing, the beehive type sound, especially not in an ongoing fashion. What I've heard is something, or the closest I've heard to that is something that sounds much like a zipper. And I've picked these up a number of times, not just myself, but a number of other people have sent me clips that have what I've come to call a zipper vocal in them. I believe it's some kind of a vocalization, and it's very unique. In fact, I think I shared an video clip with Jeff earlier that has an example of a zipper vocal in it. And one interesting observation that I've made of all the zipper vocalizations I've studied over the years, and this goes back to 2008 when I started this research, they're always captured when there's somebody with a recorder going and they're out in the forest and there's potentially a Sasquatch nearby. And so the Sasquatch is observing the person. Then we capture these zipper vocals at times. But David and I and others also leave these long duration recorders out in the forest for weeks and weeks on end. I've never caught a zipper vocal when it was just a recorder alone in the woods with no human nearby.
Yeah, you're pretty confident it has something to do with the people that they're seeing, and maybe it's even a word or a vocal to describe people, correct?
Yeah, I just entertaining the idea. Maybe it's their nickname for us. They call us zippers or whatever. But,
I get it at my house. My house, I get mouth pops. People call them tree knocks, but they're not. They're mouth pops.
Mouth pops.
I get them a lot. They're very loud. They're not tree knocks. They're mouth pops. And I get them all the time. And they kind of sound like a tree knock, but they're not. And when you hear them close, then you figure out that they're not a tree pop. It's crazy, and they're so loud. And I get the baby crying if I have kids in my backyard, which is kind of strange. It actually is so strange it freaks out the kids.
Hey, let me just interject real quick, if I could. I see a number of people in the chat who have recordings, like Kaiju Ninja 85 just said they've got zipper recordings. Yeah. If there's anyone in the chat that has a recording and they'd like to get a second opinion on it, I'd invite them to contact me by email. And I don't know if we can stick it in the show notes or what, but my email is monongahela@gmail.com.
Yeah, Jeff has it. He can paste it.
I'd like to hear one of those. I might have heard them and just have to ignored it. You never know.
Yeah, they're very subtle, hard to pick up. In fact, I had been hearing them for years in recordings and didn't realize it. It wasn't until I finally realized, hey, there's a strange zipper-like sound in there. And then I started going back through old recordings, and I realized, wow, this occurs every time there's somebody with a recorder in the field.
Does it sound kind of like a metal?
No. If anything, it sounds like a tent zipper being opened.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, similar to that. But some of them are very deep pitched as well. And I did send Jeff a link.
Jeff, do you want to play a zipper?
Sure. Which you got? I have three of them here. Which one do you want me to play?
The one labeled Cohuta Howls.
Okay.
It has howls and a zipper vocal in it, multiple zipper vocals.
Sure.
And we can play that one.
Okay. Yeah, let me pull that up. Here we go.
Yeah, and this is from North Georgia, north of Atlanta. And I believe it's the Cohuta Wilderness or the Cohuta National Forest. It's in the National Forest up there.
Okay, I'll play this.
Hello, everybody. This is Monongahela here, and I've got a clip I want to share with you.
This is fairly long. So
I first came across this on the internet.
Should I skip ahead to a certain point?
Yeah, but I don't know the exact point to tell you to go to.
About halfway.
Okay.
Yeah, try about halfway. Okay, back it up just a little bit.
At the beginning of the recording, and then there we go. A good, beautiful standalone whoop. Now, how is that
I just saw
response?
it.
We've had these good
skip forward just a little bit
vocals at the beginning of the recording, and then right here you can see this ascending, curving parabolic signal in the spectrogram. It's just a beautiful example of a long, languid, drawn-out whoop. Let's play this a couple of times.
That's clearly a whoop.
I think that sounds pretty.
Yeah, that's actually a whoop. Let's
Very
skip
languid.
forward just a little bit because the zipper vocal is right after this. A little bit farther. Keep going. And farther. Now that's something else. Okay, right there. Whoop, we just passed. Yeah, right there. Stop. Beginning at 102. You can see these very vague vertical bars from like 103, 104, and right at 105. Those are actually zipper vocals. They're subtle and hard to hear. I don't know if they'll come through in this video.
I'll play
give
it.
it a shot.
To what I find to be the most interesting part of this recording.
Yeah, they didn't really come through.
Okay.
Devin, I think you amplify it. So if we just stick with it here.
Okay, I'll keep playing it.
Sure.
The two soft vocals that I pointed out before the long howl earlier, the sounds that had the vibrating characteristic in them. Here are four more of what I believe are the same sounds. And you can hear them much more clearly. They're a little louder here, deeper in pitch, but I'll loop this and I believe you'll be able to hear this vibrating noise to them. Okay, so this is the important part of this.
You can go ahead and stop it, guys.
Almost sounds like a huff.
Yeah, because that's an 18-minute video. They're so subtle in there that I have to apologize for sending that. I didn't know they wouldn't come across any better.
David,
Yes.
do you have any?
Yeah, but it would take me a while to find it because it's
Okay.
buried in some old files. It sounds to me, I could hear kind of a huffing sound with it. Am I incorrect in that, Devin?
Yeah, I think there are a couple of weak background signals behind those.
Yeah. So
Caillou said he can send some right now to Jeff.
Sure, yeah, email them to me. You bet.
Yeah, go ahead, please, Caillou.
That would be good. Yeah, I didn't know how this forum was going.
Well, how do you know? Okay, so here's the dumb question of the day. How do you know they're not just somebody in camp opening their sleeping bag?
Because there was no camp in this situation.
Oh, I see. Okay.
This was recorded by a fellow named Ben Rivers, now deceased, but he had gone out, kind of trying to collect his own evidence. He's a Bigfoot skeptic, and he was just hiking on a trail. Sun had gone down, and at first he heard a howl, and so he started recording, and he got another howl, a few more howls. He got these zipper type vocals, which he could hear with his ear, and then there's a few more vocals after those zipper vocals.
So, Devin, you're calling it a vocal, so that means they're producing them through a voice type of a situation, not blowing through their hands or something of that nature. You seem to think that it's something coming from a voice.
Well, I think it's oral. Maybe they're vibrating their lips, like doing a v or something like that. That would make the most sense to me. But I do believe it's not mechanical. I don't. With regard to they're using something else to produce the sound. I think it's just something that they can do, similar to they can make a mouth pop.
Right.
I agree. I think they can. These are animals that are way bigger than us. They can do things that we don't understand. I think for us to think we can understand it, I think is crazy. But I think still studying it is good. but I don't think we can ever second guess anything. You just got to keep moving forward.
Yeah. And at best, all we can really do is infer some potential meaning based upon what we can observe. And the only thing I can observe about zipper vocals is they have this particular type of sound, and they always have been captured when a human was present with a recorder and a Sasquatch seemed to be nearby. Yeah. Otherwise, you never hear them.
Well, I talked to Adam was camping for 30 days, and he was with his wife, had come up to visit, and they called me the next day, said they were hearing these very clear zipper sounds outside the tent while they were both listening. And at first, Adam thought his wife had unzipped a sleeping bag, and she's like, no, I didn't. Then they kept hearing those sounds. Have you talked to any witnesses that have heard that, like up near them, like that?
I did speak to the fellow who recorded that, Ben River, originally. And to him, he said at the time, it didn't sound like a zipper. It sounded more like somebody beating on a big plastic trash can, which, okay, if you're there in the live presence of the audio, maybe it does sound different. Others I've spoken to, maybe it was Chris Spencer, who he was in a situation where he believed there was a Sasquatch in front of him, and then suddenly from about 20 feet behind him, he heard a zipper vocal, or he heard a vocal. And when I studied the audio, there was a zipper in that vocal. And it surprised him to the point where he snapped his head around and said, what the F was that?
Yeah.
And I did speak to him about that. And so we discussed it. He didn't really pick up on the zipper part of it, but the recorder clearly caught it. So it may be the kind of thing that it's so subtle in the moment, a lot of people don't necessarily hear it. I have recorded it once while I was in the field, and I had just made a whoop or a howl or something, and a few seconds later caught a zipper vocal from not too far away. But at the time, I did not hear it.
Okay. We had an experience up at Snellgrove where Adam got up really early in the morning, and he kept hearing this thing going zip, zip. I mean, he could only, that's not what it sounded like, but he was hearing a zip, 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 a little one, and it kept going. He thought it sounded like kind of like electricity. Sort of like a Tesla coil zapping, that zip, zip. And then he just spoke. He goes, okay, guys, whatever. I'm just going to throw in some gas in the generator. And then he heard a big one. Zip, zip, zip. And then the little one was quiet.
Interesting.
It's just another crazy story.
That suggests if it is a nickname for us that they're using, then it could also be used as a warning.
Well, see, it fits with your story or your little theory.
The observations.
Because he just kind of nobody gets up that early. It was just at the crack of dawn, he bumped out of the cabin and started hearing this zip, zip, zip.
I think we got to think about, like I told you about the noise that made me calm. I'm sure they can do a noise that scares you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we got to think about everything. Not, you know what I mean? And so just like lions can do it, and we can't hear a lot of what elephants say.
Oh yeah.
I think we have to think about those kind of things.
Yeah. Well, the other end of my experience is I've studied recordings that folks have captured all around the country, which have the most blood-curdling shrieks. I mean, far beyond anything a human would likely do, and just captured out in the deep forest or out in open farm country, and they're simply terrifying to listen to. Even sitting here in my office, I could just imagine what it would be like to hear a shriek like that in the middle of the night.
Yeah,
and I'm not talking about barred owls making their weird shrieky thing.
I've heard
I'm
of
talking about like a ghoulish shriek. So yeah,
Devin, Devin, I have a question. Do you see the zipper vocal before you hear it? I mean, you're looking at the audio and go, oh my God, there's a zipper vocal. Because you can tell in the spectrogram that it has the signature of the zipper.
Because it's a fairly broadband signal, I may not recognize immediately that that's going to be a zipper before I get to it.
Gotcha.
But I'll see some signal strength there, and I'll know, okay, pay attention to that. There's something going on. And then when I listen to it, I may discover it's a zipper. But honestly, zippers, I've only heard that vocal maybe 20 times in all the recordings I've studied.
Sure.
And it's literally thousands of clips.
It's rare.
Yeah, I wouldn't waste a lot of time on it. It's just very interesting and very unique. It's also a minority of what we hear. So
I got those clips from Tristan, and I'll just, as an aside, for some perspective on this, we have decades of whale songs, dolphin songs. I mean, decades, hours and countless hours, and we don't know what the heck they're saying. So if we can't figure out what they're saying, you probably can't feel guilty about not knowing what Bigfoot's saying either. Yeah. You know what I mean? I mean, we've got hours, countless hours of that, and we can't figure it out. So don't feel bad about nobody understanding what they're saying.
yeah, and that's not my goal at all. It's just to recognize that there is consistency in what they're saying. And that's at the heart of communication. If they're using the same signals over and over, that's how you communicate.
Yeah, same with cetaceans. I mean, they're consistent. We know it's a language, just have no idea what they're saying.
Mike, when you would have this creature approach your window, was there ever a time it didn't do the buzz sound?
No.
Every time, consistent.
Not that I remember. Nope.
It's amazing.
Nope.
Amazing. How many years?
For a long time, I thought it was like a dream until my dad started talking about it. Then I asked him about it. Yeah.
Did anybody else hear this buzz?
Nope. I asked him. I asked my mom. Nope. Just me and my dog. Yeah.
Well, I got 3 clips here from Tristan. You want to hear those?
Yep.
All right. Okay, I got another one here. And I got one more. I'll play. Interesting.
The last one was very cool.
Yeah. I like Brendan's comment. Can't figure out human teenager language either.
Were those the zipper sound, Devin?
Yeah, I'm sorry?
Those are Tristan's.
Okay, Tristan's recordings, were those the zipper sounds?
No, what I heard through my speakers were subtle vocals. Voice vocals. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I guess what was interesting about them with just this cursory pass, no headphones, no software tools, is they're consistent with regard to the unusual nature of them and structure. That's one of the things that both David and I have noticed is that Sasquatch vocals can be very weird. Combinations of just strange utterances, and the first 2 there definitely sounded like somewhat strange utterances. The first one sounded a little bit like a double whoop, and the second one was just kind of strange.
Yeah, well, I've personally yet to hear the dang zipper sound clearly, so I'm confused as to what it is exactly.
That it's without headphones and a good clip, it can be hard to hear.
Go ahead, Mike.
That last recording was very cool. The first voice that came on was very close to the tone of the sound I used to hear, and then it went on to something else that was much lower. There was two different sounds on that recording. I really liked that recording, and it actually kind of gave me goosebumps, the first one. So,
and Jeff, do you have any of the Buzz Hum recordings from previous shows?
Which ones you looking for? Yeah, I have all of them.
Oh, you do?
I should
access them.
Which one specific? Do you remember who sent them?
The last one you played was really good.
The Russian ones.
Do you have the J.A. John Andrews, J.A. PG?
From David. Let's see here. I got to do a little bit of digging. Yes, the JAPG when attached.
The interesting thing about this recording, it calmed Paul Graves within, I want to say seconds, but it's probably a little longer than that. But it put him right back to sleep, like what Mike said, that it calmed him. So this is important that it connects with what Mike is saying, that it created a calming effect.
Yep, this is the one that's JAPG Wenatchee, that one? Okay.
Yes.
Yep, got it right here.
Yeah, this one is very close. It's just a lot lower in tone, and it's not. Yeah.
All right, that's good, Jeff. Thanks.
Yeah, I think that was looped 3 times. If you were wondering.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Mike, what do you think about Jen Andrews' recording?
That is the one I heard was a little lower in tone, but and mine didn't stop. But that's about
close.
It. Yeah, it's very, very close.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's what we figured.
Standing up on my arm, actually.
Well, see, but here's what this does, Mike.
Oof.
Don't take any offense by what I'm about to say, but it, in some ways, because we've been working on this from
2 years plus.
2 years, but from other people and historical things, it validates your story. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah,
it validates it because that's not something you would have ever have known. It's a detail to your story, a secret detail that you've brought up, and suddenly we can go. That's what happened to him. Because
I was young for years. I thought it was a dream.
Yeah.
No, I get it. No.
It really does validate your story. And do you think? I mean, do you agree with that, Devin? That when some detail like this comes out of an old story, that they couldn't have possibly known. It just kind of makes you, not that it's a scientific validation, but it's an amazing personal validation.
Yeah. Let me just say, if you can prove the provenance of that sound, that it wasn't hoaxed is what I'm saying.
Right.
Then it could be, indicative of, okay, here's something similar to what Mike says he heard. So that lends some credibility, to Mike's experience.
Yeah.
And so in that regard, it's worth considering. Certainly, it doesn't prove anything.
No,
but it's always good if you have something that's a demonstration of what might.
Yeah, nothing ever proves anything.
Yeah, but to me, informally, and I always use the word informally, it does, because that's not something Mike could have ever have known. That detail. It's just like the sales audio. Suddenly we hear that buzz, the same stuff, and that's recorded way back.
So just to inform everybody, I ran across Mike's encounter story from a podcast Shane Grove has. It's From the Shadows.
Yeah, only one I've ever done. Yeah.
And this was right after our private conversation with Tristan, Doug.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even out. We hadn't done Untold Radio.
Right.
Nobody knew about this particular sound except you, myself, and Tristan, that there might be some correlation. And then I hear this story on another podcast within a couple of days. So it was a synchronicity thing, but it just set off all kinds of alarm bells for me.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of a nudge in the right direction going, Mike, you recalled something really interesting. That's a detail that, you certainly adds credibility to the whole story, and God knows we all need that.
Strange. It's the subject that doesn't quit. And
No.
and so as soon as it seems like you see more, more.
Do you have any reservations in telling your story to strangers, Mike?
No, I never do. I got Bigfoot stickers on my car. I talk to everybody. Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm not that guy. Yeah. I'm not shy about anything.
Well, when did the encounter start? How old were you and when did they end?
I was about 7. By the end, they have never end. I got pictures of them at my house I live at now. I saw one a couple of weeks ago down by Ocean Shores. Yeah. It seems like once you see them, it just happens. I think once you see them easier. I don't know why.
Mike, I think we might want to just take a quick detour and talk about the milked cows on your property off the Wainuchi. Yes. Now, I also have something to add to that. Your story, you gave a location, which I'm not going to give out, but 1 mile from your house where you were having activity, I received a phone call from a witness, went out and did an investigation on their property, which is a mile south of where you were having your interactions. So
right where you were at. Yep.
So you got to hear this story. I think you have, Doug, but everybody should hear it.
Yeah. Shoot.
I am all ears. Go ahead, Mike.
Mike?
Yep.
You want to tell the story about your story cows?
Yeah, I grew up on a dairy farm. I'm pretty much borderline Olympic Peninsula, and once in a while we would get cows that would come in. Well, I grew up on a dairy farm, so we milk cows for a living, and cows would always come in full of milk every morning. But once in a while, we would have one that would come in that would be milked. It would be empty, completely empty. And we just couldn't figure it out. But eventually we kind of figured that because a cow has 4 teats, so it takes hands to milk all 4. And so we knew something had to be milking them, but we were way out in the middle of nowhere. So we knew it wasn't somebody else coming out and milking our cows. And then we started finding buckets from farms 4 miles down in our woods. And so we just figured that over the years, because this farm had been around for like 4 generations, that somebody had figured they probably had watched and probably figured it out and just knew how to do it. And so whenever a cow came in milked, we just says, I hope you enjoyed it. It was just it kind of turned into a joke. We just kind of knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, and so it implied that Bigfoots were either milking the cows or feeding somehow, which it doesn't sound that. I mean, it doesn't sound like crazy to me.
Well, no, but we've heard about them braiding, the manes on horses. We've heard a lot of different things, and this is pretty simple, and they're very smart. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me a bit. And we just kind of figured it was what it was, and we just didn't care.
Well, it's interesting. It's very interesting. It's anecdotal stories, but boy, when you hear these stories of the manes being braided too.
Yeah.
The witches, what do they call them? Witches' knots.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, we never had that, but we definitely had our cows milked.
My grandfather had an 80-acre dairy farm, and every once in a while he would ask me if I'd want some fresh milk. And I said, sure. And he says, well, get down here. And he'd squirt it right into my mouth.
I miss the fresh milk more than anything, let me tell you.
Do you think, Devin, that Bigfoot takes advantage of agriculture and farms and as food sources?
Certainly. I mean, at the very least, I could imagine them out there picking corn on the backside of an 80-acre corn plot.
Yeah. And I've met witnesses that have seen them in cornfields, in the cornfield.
Yeah, a lot, actually. Yeah.
So, I don't doubt that at all.
Yeah, and, so many people think they need to do research in the middle of nowhere, in the area of Area X, but, man, they do seem like they come very near civilization often.
No, Kim. No, Kim, to Rocky Mountain oysters. No, Kim.
So, in my experience, one of the things I like to do as part of my research is go out and try to get them to respond, so I can get them recorded. And I have found that if I'm close to human habitation, I have a really tough time getting any kind of a response. Even if they've been seen in the area or people have experiences, I can't get a response. But if I go into really remote regions, like one of my preferred areas for investigation is up in the mountains in West Virginia, I'll go as remote as I possibly can. And I know I'm miles and miles from any humans or homes. And I get a lot better response out there. When I vocalize, I'd say 10% of the time I can get a response vocal when I'm farther out in the forest. So I have good luck with that.
Yeah, try having kids around. If kids around, they go crazy. Mine, like babies, they mouth pop in the middle of the day. It's nuts. Yes. It's I don't know why, but it's only the springtime. Mine aren't there year round. Springtime, as soon as all the leaves come out, they're there for about a month, and then they leave.
Well, I know for a fact that I don't think anybody's used the hum or the hum buzz purr recordings to attract a Bigfoot, but Chris Reinhardt years ago developed a way to use, I think it's 40 hertz tuning forks. He's had great luck in Bigfoot activity by either playing recordings of the tuning forks going or using the tuning forks. And I don't know where he got that idea, but he did it at Snell, and we had activity that night. That was crazy.
It's interesting because that's very close to infrasound. Infrasound starts at 20 hertz and goes lower.
Right.
And so if he's at 40 hertz, he's extremely deep. I mean, most humans couldn't hear 40 hertz. They might feel it in their chest, but generally our hearing drops out at around 80 hertz. So
Devin,
I've got Carl's audio handy, the hum from Cells. If you want
to,
that's such a great clip. That clip's amazing.
Feel free to comment, Mike, when you're hearing these.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to hear that.
That's from the Cell site. That's an incredible clip.
But it's still that hum, buzz, kind of purr sound or whatever we call it.
Yeah, I would say that's a leave me alone.
So are you saying, Mike, that sound would not put you to sleep? Okay.
No, that was like run.
Oh, man. Do you have the ones that I recorded up at Snell?
Probably.
And Chris and Bud recorded.
Let's see here.
Snell Grove.
Probably. Let's see here. I'll do some digging. Let me do some digging. Keep.
I've got it. I've got it here.
Oh, okay.
Kaiju Ninja is asking if he can play his clip.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which one? I've got some of the ones from last show with him. Let's see here with Tristan.
Well, here's mine that we recorded. We recorded hours of it.
Oh, you know what, Doug? I think I found the cleaned up version of that. Give me a second here. Yep, I've got the. Here we go. Got the direct version here.
Yep, that's Snow. Mike, any comments?
Yeah, nothing that I've heard.
Yeah, but you get the similarities.
Yeah,
it's still some kind of a vibrating sound.
Devin, you got something?
Yeah, let me point out this comment from Kim Christensen because they're spot on. When we listen to audio, the first thing we should always try to do is debunk it.
Right.
And they bring up a good point. Nighthawk boom dive sounds. I have heard those in the past, just as part of studying. And I guess if we could find one of those on YouTube, that might be worth listening to because you never know. This could be a known creature making a sound that.
Well, Nighthawks, don't they? They use kind of a sonar too, don't they, Devin?
I don't know Nighthawk.
That's the air breaking off their wings, Doug, that creates that specific sound.
Yeah,
they go I know they eat small insects.
It's similar, but I think that there are differences which would come out in a side-by-side comparison with a spectrogram.
Jeff or somebody or maybe somebody in chat can find us a link.
I've got, meanwhile, I've got Tristan's clip here. Okay.
It's coming.
It's eating too, I believe. Correct?
That one.
And I think it was determined that some of that sound was confirmed that it was messing with the recorder. So a lot of that just random sound? Was it actually physically messing with the recorder?
Yeah, but I like that. You hear footsteps, the sound. Yeah, I like that one.
That's a pretty cool clip.
I think I'll offer a different perspective. I'm a little skeptical on that one. What I hear is fairly rapid chewing, which indicates a small jaw. Growls, I hear growls, which are really common for raccoons. And I think what we may be hearing there is somebody has drawn in a raccoon to food, and the raccoon is defensively eating that food. And we're hearing it growl and smack on the food at the same time.
Yeah, we recently found they do a kind of a purring, some kind of purring sound.
Yeah, they do. I have at my house every night. But yeah, this one, the footsteps at the beginning, though, that throws me off.
Yeah, interesting clip. Is there anything else I got here? Let's see. Anything else you want me to play, Doug?
Unless you have the Russian ones that came from
David
Birchev.
Let's see here.
David sent them.
Yep, I do. Yep. Give me a second here. I've got a few of them here. All right, got a couple more here.
And that's looped.
Yeah, these are all looped. And one more here from that same source.
Seems to be vocals mixed in with the...
Yeah, never heard that. No idea.
Yeah, I've got quite a few here from David.
So people are talking about cats, moss, nighthawks. Oh, we got raccoons, big cats.
Snoring. Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting.
I should tape me tonight. We'll be good to go.
Have you ever heard the your bee buzzing in modern times here as you've turned into an adult there, Michael?
I have not.
Oh.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it is. So they've moved on, you think?
Oh, I've moved on. I don't live there anymore.
Okay. Oh, I see. Interesting.
David?
Yes.
What do you think? Should we...
Oh, I think we have a whole plethora of things and lots of different possibilities. Do I think that they can make that particular sound? Well, we have certain eyewitnesses that tell us yes.
Right.
So if we base it off of eyewitness testimony, it has legs. Whether what we're hearing or looking at here is pertinent to that, I don't know. But it's possible.
Yeah.
I've got a couple more videos here from Devin we can share.
Yeah, let's do it. And Devin, you can answer this now or later. What are your thoughts on the Moorhead stuff? The Moorhead recordings, the Sierra sounds.
The Sierra sounds?
Yeah.
I think they're legit, and I do think they're Sasquatch vocalizations. I'll caveat that to begin my research, I had to begin with the assumption that at least 2 seed clips upon which I was building my analysis were legitimate. And if they were legitimate, I should be able to find similar signals in other recordings.
Right.
And it's a form of link analysis that we do, linking evidence to evidence to evidence and building a connected web of verification over time. And so there are things in the Sierra sounds, the whoops and the what have you, that I've been able to find in many other recordings. And then the second audio recording that I assumed was true, as part of the basis of my analysis, was Matt Moneymaker's Ohio Howls. And so between those two clips, I should be able to find those vocalizations again. And we've heard moan howls many times, and I've recorded them over and over. In fact, that's probably one of the clips I shared with you is an example of moan howls.
I agree.
Yeah, I got that one right here. Hold on a second. Yeah, this is the moon howl clip.
Kirk Brandenburg captured this. Is the original clip first. So this is a little weak, but at the end, there's a louder version. So you'll notice that there were 3 howls there. That's one of those close to the chest characteristics that we've held on to for a while. Now it's out in the public. That generally moan howls come in 3s. And here's 2 whoops at the end.
And then I've got another one. This is the Kentucky vocalizations, it's called.
Yeah, and this is just a collection of really odd vocals. There's moan howls in here. There's wood knocks, very subtle. There's whistles. There's falsetto shrieks. This has everything in it.
Okay, here we go.
Dog. Humans. Here you go. What was the falsetto shriek? So now for a filtered version. But let me point out, those people who capture that are making the classic mistake. When you hear vocalizations, please shut up.
Yeah.
So I filtered out the humans. This seems to be a little squawks in the beginning here. Make it a little whoop. And so now this is a good example of how weird their vocalizations could be, because just think of yourself, would you ever string together that many different weird sounds?
Yeah.
You know, it just makes no sense.
Some of them were really high.
It seems they can get extremely high and extremely low very quickly.
Yep. That's great.
What would they need to be able to do that? Why can't humans?
Why can't humans, or why?
Why can't humans shift their vocal range that?
It's all in our individual ability. So, like Freddie Mercury, he could do it, but do many of us sing like Freddie Mercury? No.
I gotcha.
It's all talent, you know. Now it seems that Sasquatch have much greater lingual dexterity, and they can cover a lot of range. And in a lot of the recordings that I've studied, there are instances where they appear to be showing off their lingual dexterity. For instance, there are clips that I've captured or studied, others have studied, where they're very clearly executing the most beautifully performed whoops, that it's almost like they're singing out these whoops.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, they could just make a whoop. There's no need to be dramatic about it. But in these cases, they're making these beautifully executed whoops, almost like they're singing them out.
Yeah.
And I believe they're doing that just as a demonstration of their vocal prowess.
I think it's also the time they can hold that note. I mean, sometimes it's incredible.
Yeah. And so the falsetto, who knows why they do it, but it's just part of the lexicon. It's definitely there. We hear it fairly often.
Yeah. When I was up at Snell many years ago, before I was even thinking about Bigfoot, we heard singing off on the shore, and we listened to it for about 20 minutes, and it would hit these really high notes, almost like it was just singing opera.
Yeah.
It was very female sounding, very beautiful, and it just was amazing because we could hear it so loud. And this is they hadn't even invented flip phones yet, okay, guys. So we didn't record it. We were there fishing, and we heard this.
Show your age now.
Yeah, I know. And my son went on to get his PhD in audio, and all, in biological audio systems and all sorts of stuff. But he obviously, I think that attributed to him taking that up as a career was that incident that he witnessed.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Devin, one of the advantages I found working with witnesses over a long period of time is that I would get to recognize specific individuals and their vocalizations. Have you found that to be true as well?
Yeah, most definitely. Sometimes even within a single clip, you'll have multiple different voices vocalizing. And so you can begin to differentiate them both based upon tone and timbre and the way they execute. So yeah, that's very much possible.
Yeah, I would recognize them just from the spectrographic visualization and go, oh, that's Fred, we'll say. I can tell that. And they would have their characteristic ending to their vocal.
Yeah.
So that it would confirm. But I think that if they're communicating who they are to somebody that is important to them. So.
Right. And they may not need to say who they are explicitly other than just vocalizing. I mean, when you speak with your family, somebody's in a different room, you know who's speaking to you because you recognize their voice. And they're probably the same way.
Sure.
So
I got a note from Roger Williams. He said that Heather and Peyton had heard sounds like, the buzzing sounds like that one night. And they called Kumbo, or Roger called Kumbo on it. And he said it was a young male trying to hit us with infrasound, but it wasn't mature enough yet to do it. He had Kumbo worked at NASA, and they played with it years ago. Infrasound, ultrasound, and measured recordings from the field. Roger goes on to say, I don't know. That's what he advised. It's, obviously there's more to it, but that's the short version. An immature male.
I don't think anything immature with their intellect is going to do anything. They don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I just think they're way too smart. If they weren't as smart as they are, we would have found them a long time ago.
Yeah.
I mean, so to think that they would do something to bring attention to them is ridiculous. I'm never going to believe it.
So why do you think that creature was coming to your window? I mean, do you think it could have been a female?
I never thought that till recently, but yes, I do. And I just thought it was we put a house in a place that had never had a house before.
Yeah.
And they were mad, and but yet she still had compassion. And so I think they're intelligent.
Mike, I just thought of this. Weren't you also raising St. Bernards? Didn't you have?
Yep.
So could there have been a I don't like you raising dogs issue?
No, I don't think so, because it never bothered dogs, never hurt any of our dogs. It just made noises and yelled and screamed, broke limbs. It left footprints. We took casts. And then it wasn't just us. All the neighbors too that just moved in. It was like 5 or 6 houses that messed with almost every night until we all started went out, and my dad and all the guys started going out and hunting it until they took a shot at it, and finally it left. But it took a few months. So it was a prolonged thing, and but now that I think about it, I'm older. I'm pretty sure it was a female, and I'm pretty sure it was just mad, and we just moved into somewhere we probably shouldn't have been, and it just but that kind of shows you how smart they really are, and I think we just don't give them enough credit.
People, about 5 people, Devin, have asked, have you ever analyzed the Minnesota St. Louis County sounds?
Yeah. I kept seeing that question come up.
What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, and so I was the fortunate one who got to study those first. It was Mike Hajicek who captured those, and then his group that he was squatching with contacted me and sent me the audio. The original clip, I want to say, is about 21 minutes long. And I spent a lot of time studying it because at first glance, an untrained ear, it sounds like wolves howling.
Yeah.
But when you really dig into it and pay close attention, and then with all the benefit of, the years of research I've been putting into this subject, I started to hear the signals that told me, no, these are not wolves. There is a wolf in there, and a coyote in there at one point, but the main howls are what I believe to be 4 Sasquatch traveling together in a loose group. And I did on my YouTube channel, there's a lengthy video about this. But basically what you hear in there is the Sasquatch enter from stage left, and they pass in front of the mics of the recorder and then exit stage right. It occurs over 21 minutes. And I was able to clip out a lot of the dead space and get it down to about 9 minutes. And the reason why I believe we're hearing what sound like wolves in there is that they're actively mimicking the local fauna. There are wolves in that county in Minnesota, and this isn't the first instance that we have recorded them mimicking some other animal. And so they seem to be moving through the area, mimicking wolf howls, but at the same time, they're adding their own special twist to those howls. And if you listen to them, many of the howls, they'll execute with what's called an oo phoneme. It'll be like ooh, and then it ends with an ah phoneme. Goes ooh ah. It's that ah is the tell. Wolves don't do that. The canids don't really do that. So that ooh ah transition is one of the characteristics we like to see, and they do that many times. And then there are several other things in that clip that are just like that's obviously not a wolf. And then later in the clip, you hear a true moan howl, and there are a couple of whoops buried and wood knocks even buried in the clip if you know where to look for them.
You could look those up, Jeff. They're pretty amazing.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find
It's
them here.
the St. Louis County, Minnesota recordings.
So, Devin, do you think that they mimic in this specific circumstance to confuse and obfuscate humans hearing these sounds and going, "Oh, I know what that is," and forget it and not thinking Sasquatch, so it's off our radar? Is it more for fooling us because they put something on the end that a wolf will go, "Hey, that ain't one of our guys"?
Yeah, and I think it's more the former than it is the latter. It's not like they're trying to fool wolves. They live with wolves. But we do know that their nature is very cryptic. They're keeping their lives on the down low, but they have to vocalize loudly, and they know humans are likely going to hear them. So why not mimic something that's already out there, like a wolf? And if we fool a human, that's great. But at the same time, they have a need to not fool other Sasquatch. So that's why they'll add that particular flair, that signal, to help other Sasquatch understand that, no, this is me.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. So, I've seen several other examples of what we call possible mimicry. Who's the fella in Illinois who is also doing recording?
Stan Courtney?
Yeah, Stan. Stan sent me the first clip I'd ever heard of mimicry, where he had made a vocalization, and then on the ridgetop ahead of him, the same vocalization came back at him after a few seconds, and it sounded just like his voice. And then on my own experience, I was mimicked in Pennsylvania, where I was squatching with some people. We marched deep into the forest, about a quarter mile, really quickly, and got into an area where there are no people. And I made a whoop, and I have a very unique, ugly, terrible sounding whoop. And we listened for 30 seconds. And after a half a minute passed by, my whoop came back at us from the forest. And, no self-respecting Sasquatch would ever whoop the way I did. But this came back from the forest. Sounded just like me. I got it recorded. And then a few seconds after it, a second whoop came, but it was a normal Sasquatch whoop from even farther away in the forest. Yeah. So.
Yeah. I've recorded mimicry. I think Devin, you're aware of. Oh, I can't hear him.
Yeah, come here, Kaya.
Yes. Yeah, that was one that sold me. We all have to have our own personal experience to get absolutely sold on it, but that's the one that tipped me over the edge.
Before. Yeah.
All right. I think I found the clip you're talking about, Doug.
How long? If you can just get to.
Yeah, I've got to the good part here. It's a pretty long clip, but I think I got to the right part.
Yeah.
It's about the middle.
Yeah.
There you go. Mm-hmm. So that's two voices you're hearing.
Yeah.
And here comes a coyote or a wolf.
Yeah.
I believe that's right.
Yep.
Yeah, once again, you don't know it's a coyote until you hear a coyote.
I don't want to be next to him. I'll tell you that.
There's a good
Yeah. See, that sounds a little canine, so that indicates they're mimicking. I don't know whose video that was, but they have some different interpretations.
Do you think there's any kind of symbiotic relationship with them and coyotes and them and wolves or even ravens?
I wouldn't be surprised. In that clip, there's a point where, as the Sasquatch have moved by, you hear a clear bipedal canid following them, walking along. I'm sorry, not bipedal.
Quadruped.
Yeah, quadrupedal. Bipedal canine would be horrifying.
Wolfman.
Yeah, a quadruped canine whining like a dog normally does, following these Sasquatch. You can hear it in that recording at one point. So, maybe they're just following the Sasquatch and picking up scraps, but there's some kind of relationship.
I have some very anecdotal evidence of them working with wolves. I was up on the Canadian border hunting grouse with a buddy, and in the middle of the night, I hear a pack of wolves just charging right through our camp. You can just hear them panting and leaping, and one after another. And behind it, to the point it shook my cot that I was in. You could hear these bipedal running, boom, 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 boom. You could just hear it running right after the wolves.
Wow.
And that was really interesting. So
maybe the wolves were chasing an elk or something.
Well, definitely the Bigfoot was chasing the wolves. But I think that they were maybe all going to share in a kill. Who knows?
You never know what's out there.
No,
we don't know. So,
but they were definitely there was something definitely bipedal chasing those wolves.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was a dude. I just don't.
A little too quick.
We were in a really, really remote area up in Canada, just tent camping. And we had seen wolves too. The following day, we saw a pack of wolves, really big wolves. So. And
real quickly, to Kaiju Ninja, no, I did not say dog man.
I did.
Yeah.
Jared, I will too, because I've seen Bigfoot, so I'm not going to say nothing else doesn't exist. I'm sorry about your luck.
Yeah. But I'm a show me kind of guy, and I just the thought of them being real just freaks me out way too much.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry about your luck.
I love that. Devin just said dog man. No, Devin didn't.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. David said dog man. Mike said dog man. Jeff said dog man. Doug said dog man.
Sometimes you just got to go to the box.
Oh, God. Yeah, it's one thing I don't. If they're real, I don't want to see a dog man. Thank you.
Me either. Not at all. That's why I stay in Washington. Don't want to go see him.
Yeah. Have you ever seen any glimpse of any creatures, Devin?
In terms of Sasquatch, I've seen eye glow on 3 or 4 different occasions.
Okay.
And one of those was correlated to a thermal hit at the same time. And that was in a Tennessee expedition that was very, very squatchy. We had a lot of evidence.
Okay, Devin just said squatchy. Post that up, Jeff.
I'm sorry.
Is this like a bingo game or something?
Yeah, this is a video game. You're part of a video game, Devin. Sorry, you weren't informed. Okay, so I glow. You said glow. Devin said I glow.
Mm-hmm.
But in all seriousness, do you think there was a light source that was reflecting, or do you think it was self-illuminating? Maybe.
I have to believe self-illuminating, because the situations where I saw it, there was no light to reflect. We were intentionally blacked out.
Yeah.
And the light that we were seeing was brighter than I could imagine. The only thing available might have been starlight. And I just don't know that something could have gathered enough starlight to reflect that brightly in those environments.
Have you read the report, the scientific report? I don't know. It wasn't released that long ago. I read one many years ago, about 2000 or 1999, about these protein cells that they had found in human eyes. Only a few cells that actually produced light. And then there was a recent scientific report where they took they had a woman subject and they put her in extreme, like a scientifically perfectly dark room and used special equipment and her eyes were glowing.
Wow. No, I had not read about that.
Oh, okay. Well, it's something to look up because obviously it's so faint you would never see it with your naked eye.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that humans have that ability is kind of interesting.
Yep.
The eye glow experience that I had, whatever the subject was, had the ability to, like a dimmer, brighten and dim its eyes.
Yep.
So it was dim to begin with, and then it got very bright, and then it dimmed back down again.
Yeah,
so I don't know. Yeah. So if it was a light reflection scenario, the light it was reflecting would be constant. It wouldn't go up and down.
Yeah, unless it was turning its head right or left.
Eyelids, you close your eyes, it's going to go down.
I suppose that could be. Yeah.
There's just too many reports to ignore about eye glow, including other colors besides white.
I will say this though. The eyes are totally round the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
So if you were squinting, that would have changed the size of the eyes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
I've got a couple clips here. Tristan sent me the one. This is the chorus one, and then Michael Waldy sent me one too. So let's. This is Tristan's chorus clip. Wow. And I got another clip here from Michael Waldy, that Texas Bigfoot
just
Rangers.
Before you play that,
Sure.
Jeff, I just
Go
want
ahead.
to throw in a comment. This place that where Tristan recorded this was Bumping Lake.
Correct, yes.
In 2007, 2006, I was at an expedition in that location, BFRO expedition, when one of these choruses rang out. So that was 2006. 2008, 2 years later, I recorded it myself. I do have a recording that's very similar to this. So whether it's a Bigfoot or coyotes, they seem to vocalize like that periodically at this particular
Man, I hear so many coyotes. There's a lot of yipping, short little yips, never sustained audio. I've never heard that in person sustained, but lots of yipping. And you can get 20 coyotes all yipping. I guess it could maybe sound sustained. I don't know. What's your thoughts, Devin?
The problem, what gives me a problem with that particular clip is not the vocals themselves, but it's such a reflective environment that all of the sound is just smeared across each other. It's really tough to make heads or tails. Now, the pitches are higher than what I often hear with Sasquatch vocalizations. So that kind of lends towards coyotes. But there are some really drawn out long vocalization in there, which aren't typical of coyotes.
Right.
So
I heard
maybe it's a little bit of both. You know, it sounded more squatchy in the beginning, and then it sounded more coyote towards the end, which is a normal pattern. If you have a Sasquatch howl, it's not uncommon to see coyotes kick off afterwards.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and including I've heard coyotes kick off from wood knocking.
Interesting.
I've heard that maybe 10 times now. Hear a wood knock, and then the coyotes all go nuts.
Okay.
My workshop is right in an area where there's a whole bunch of sightings, and every once in a while, it doesn't happen, every week, but I'll walk out of there and I'll hear a wood knock, and then the coyotes all go crazy.
So now, I was just going to add, as far as courses go, here on the East Coast, I don't know that we have many examples of them. I've recorded just one myself, and that was north of Charlottesville, Virginia, near the Shenandoah National Park, and it's very weird sounding. You listen to it, and it's like, that's not coyotes. All of those voices are just really weird and freaky, making strange sounds.
Yeah. What do you think about is there anything that we can determine from the whistle? I think Loretta had asked about the whistling. Is there any differences in their whistles or whistles that have been recorded to human? David?
I think there's a lot of mistaken identity, because a lot of people will hear whistles at night, and there are actually plenty of songbirds that will whistle in the night. But then there are those whistles that are just so unique and loud and different that it's just, okay, if it's a bird, it's not a regular bird. I sort of doubt that it's a bird. But I have not been able to collect enough of those to really make a call one way or the other. I think they're more common out on the West Coast than they are on the East Coast. But
I kind of agree. We will hear noises at night that shouldn't be at night. Sometimes, but not a lot. But it's kind of strange. But you kind of blow it off.
Right.
Do you live in the on the edge of the forest, Mike?
Yeah, I do. Yes. Always have.
Yep.
Lucky. You're
lucky.
No
kidding. I want to live out in the woods so bad.
Yeah. You can put a credit card, Mike, between my house and the neighbor.
Yeah. Me too.
Not me.
You can barely put a credit card.
I would shoot myself.
Yeah, I'm
it's not fun. Every time they open the car door, you hear it. Like, oh God.
No. Yeah, I can see that in my neighbor's kitchen.
I walk out my back door and I have a creek 10 feet from it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you're bragging.
Yeah, no, I grew up on a farm. I'm never going to live in the city. Yeah.
I grew up rural, and I really miss it. As a kid, I couldn't wait to move to the city, and now I just want to move back.
Oh, I never wanted to, never will. No.
I got one more clip here. This is from Michael Waldy, Texas Bigfoot Rangers. They were on not too long ago. We'll give this one a shot.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That I'll be honest. That right there at the beginning, there was an ooh vocal there, which reminded me of in 2010 when I was just starting my investigation. I discovered an area where I was getting really interesting vocals, and one of them was this repeating vocal that sounded like ooh woo, and it would do it about every 30 seconds. Going on and I thought this is some kind of an owl maybe I don't recognize, but I've never recorded it since those days. I've recorded it a few times in that era, And eventually I did discover that there's quite a bit of Sasquatch activity in that area. So I believe it to be a Sasquatch vocal. This is the first time I've heard anything similar to it other than back in 2010.
And I will say, just a reminder, we're all kind of operating off of half of what we do, which is we're just listening to these vocalizations.
Yeah. Yep.
We're not doing the hard work, which is looking at them. It's what looking at them and producing a sound print that we can identifiably follow is what we're looking for. So what we're doing tonight is you're playing some sounds. What do you think? Well, I don't know.
Yeah. Interesting.
I haven't put it through the paces yet, but
this is what I would call seat of the pants analysis.
Yeah.
Could you play that again, Michael Waldes?
Sure.
What's that?
He said these have never been shared publicly.
Yeah, I like that.
Very interesting. I was just gonna before the show ends at some point. I don't want to forget, but Dennis Harry Ford died today. And if you don't know who Dennis is, he was not a Bigfoot researcher. He was law enforcement, but he was the one that probably cast and collected the best footprints of Bigfoot ever. He was a certified man tracker. He's appeared in Monster Quest once and appeared in Mysterious Encounters once. He was really great man. I'm going to show. Let me hold up this 100-pound cast here. This is the. Knock everything over. This thing's massive, guys.
Jeff, I think we lost Devin. Oh, there.
No, I'm here.
Okay.
There we go. This is how detailed this track is, right down to the toenails. And he documented, it's not just one casting, it's numerous castings that he took, and they've been kind of the gold standard for track castings. But anyhow, rest in peace, Dennis.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, there's Patty with the mid-tarsal break. That cast is pretty famous, but his is number 2 for sure.
Oh, yeah. It's just gold standard on detail.
Yeah.
I got his and the Hereford cast. All three on my wall.
No, but hey, don't forget about David's Babyfoot cast. That thing is
I got the knuckle cast.
Littlefoot.
That's the opposite of the hairy foot.
Don't have the baby cast, damn it.
Yeah, I got one.
I've got one right here.
Yeah.
It's 5 feet from me.
We'll have to get you a copy, Mike.
Gonna have to. Damn it.
It's only 3 3/4 inches long.
Yeah, see?
Hold on, I'm gonna grab mine.
But don't you know, they're all supposed to be bigger than that.
Well, you got to start somewhere, I think.
Yeah. See, look at the wall.
Here you go. Let's see.
Got all of them back there.
There you go. That's Littlefoot.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I don't have that one.
My camera doesn't do it justice, but there's actually dermal ridges in these areas.
Oh, yeah. Love to have see that.
You see that gash there, Devin?
This one?
Yeah.
Yes. It stepped on a stick. Look at how much fatty tissue it formed around that stick.
Yep.
And bulged out to the side. Humans don't have that much fat.
Is that for Grace Harbor?
No, that was from Bumping Lake, east of Mount Rainier.
Wow. Oh, yeah.
And you can see the
heel
here, obviously.
Yeah, the heel is half the foot.
Yeah, that's very cool.
And now I compared this to the prints of my 2 children when they were newborns. I mean, within 30 minutes of being born, they were printed. And the big difference is this is shorter than my newborn children's prints. And my kids were both just over 7 pounds when they were born. And their newborn print, the heel tapers down to almost a point because human heels are not developed as infants. This thing has an extremely robust heel, and it's smaller than my newborn babies.
Isn't that crazy?
In length.
Wow.
So it's an incredible case.
Was there just one track, David? Was it just one?
Actually, the complete story is my wife and I and another investigator went to bumping to look for impressions. I've been finding them for years. And this other investigator and my wife were, maybe an eighth of a mile away in a different direction. And I get a call on the radio saying that they found some impressions that I might want to take a look at them. They said, well, they're kind of small, but I think they might be of interest. So I went over and I looked at them, and they were about 5.5 to 6 inches long. There was two sets of them. So there was 2 individuals. But I told my wife, since it was the first time she had found impressions, that I would cast them for her, fully thinking that they were probably, human. We went about our day and I found larger impressions that I cast. And it came to the end of the day and we were leaving, and just about got to the car when I realized, I promised my wife that I would cast those impressions. So went back. Didn't take any gear, didn't document it because I was fully convinced myself that these were human tracks. And so I cast them. And then I had a little bit of hydrocal left over, and I was looking for a place to put it. And there next to my knee, about 4 inches away, was this impression, Littlefoot.
That's awesome. And
so I cast it with that little dollop of cast material that I had. And when I did cast the others as well, and when I put the story together, those impressions seemed to be holding the little one, and it got a single foot down, because I did concentric circles. I scoured that place for more impressions. There was only one.
It probably dropped down.
Yeah, I think it wriggled free, got its foot down, because in the impression, if you look at it closely, you can
Devin, you got to put it back up. People are requesting you put it back up.
The foot is bending. It's bending where the
Can you hold it straight up and down the other way? Devin?
Okay.
Yeah, like that. There you go.
And let me do a side view too. So
there you can see the mid-tarsal break where the heel comes to the ball of the foot.
That ball is just crazy wide, and the heel is so wide and thick.
Yeah, the heel is very deep too.
Yep.
So what's interesting is, besides this little impression, is that the one that was holding it cast a 4-toed impression, and it got into the mud. So I got a top of part of the foot, so I can tell that it only cast 4 toes. Well, if you look at Littlefoot, where the toe right next to the big toe, that's just caked mud. There's no toe there. And there's the little toe, a piece of it broke off, so you can't really tell. But there's 3 toes there. So 3 toes and a big toe is 4 toes.
Yeah, and you see that break in the middle too, which is very cool.
Actually, that's David's foot. He's just
And you want to know the fun?
He's got little hands too. He's got those little hands too.
If you multiply the dimensions times 4, you have the dimensions of Patty's foot.
What do you do?
Wow.
Yep. I got Patty's foot right here.
Yep.
Anyhow, that track is really cool. Somebody's requesting the Texas sounds again too.
Sure, can play it again.
They are really good. I mean, those are really interesting sounds. metallic. Very metallic sounding, David.
Yes, which is an interesting note. There, a lot of metallic sounds have been recorded, not even voice type sounds, but car door sounds.
Yeah.
Car doors slamming in the woods. I have a recording of something banging on a chain link fence in the middle of the woods. I also have recorded a weed eater in the middle of the woods at 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that was a buzz, Doug. Maybe it wasn't a weed
That's
eater.
what I'm saying. Yeah. Exactly.
I think it just mimicked.
I was like, I'm surprised I just hit you now.
Now I'm going to have to go digging for that file.
Oh, you recorded it?
Yeah.
Oh, gee. Okay. Yeah. Now you're definitely going to dig.
And Stan Courtney sent me a weed eater recording a long time ago. And it was the fellow who got it recorded actually looked up and saw the Sasquatch who was at the edge of the forest making the weed eater sound.
There you go.
If he would just do the work, it'd be good.
Well, can we rule out these starlings that do mimic, certain starling birds mimic?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Can that be ruled out, guys?
No, the crows, everything else.
I don't think you can rule it out. I think the possibilities are minimal, but
It's just minimal.
You have to acknowledge it.
Well, I've heard the baby cries. They're not very good at it, but they try.
Got that recorded too.
The worst thing a person can do who's interested in research is to come up with a reason why you don't need to want to study it.
Right.
That's not a good thing to do. And that's what so many of our modern scientists do.
Mm-hmm.
One, they're not getting a grant to do anything with it. And two, they just kind of like blow it off. It's probably I'm not why look into it. And Devin, thank God that you're so open-minded.
You have to be. It's
but you're
okay to be
rare.
skeptical, but you've got to keep your mind open.
But Devin, you're so rare as a scientist.
Yeah, you know what? I agree. I appreciate it very much because I know, so I really don't care.
Yeah.
But I appreciate the people that do because, once you see them, you kind of know. Doesn't matter anymore. But the people that don't,
what's
time I think is amazing. So
what's really cool though is that I know from my experience in the training that I went through, the military graduates hundreds, if not into the thousands, of students with the same kind of training that I have every year. And so there are other crypto linguists out there, probably retired, sitting on the sofa at home, who could dust off their old skills and do the same kind of research that I and Scott Nelson and others are doing.
Somebody
and I
will
invite them to do it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
we appreciate it very much.
I think this is an absolutely viable frontier, and we're just we need more Devins out there. You're right.
Yep.
We as amateurs aren't going to gain traction. We'll notice things. We'll draw attention to some things, but we can't make any kind of final determination that it has validity. Don't have the background.
But David, there's always going to be skeptics, even for me, for the scientific approach that I attempted to take to this, well-reasoned approach. There are always people going to be willing to shoot me down because they have their vested view of the world, and they don't want anything to undermine that. So what's more important is that there's actually a community of people out there like us, whether you've got training or you don't, but you have the open mind and you're willing to go out there and put the recorders out and do the data collection, do the research. And then we share that as a community and we debunk it. We try to verify it, whatever, but we don't give up is the point. So don't worry about those people that have their agendas,
Yeah, I'm not worried. It's just it's probably not going to gain traction, if you will, until it is verified with somebody like your background. So that's all my point is that I can discover things and point things out that seem interesting to me. Whether they pass muster with you is what's important.
But I'm no gatekeeper, so I will be brutally honest with people. It's like, yeah, that sounds like coyotes to me.
Yeah,
I'm not going to blow sunshine, that's for sure.
Yeah.
What are the chances, guys?
Understand that it is what it is.
Yes.
But don't let them get to us. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
What are the chances of having a public depository of all of these sounds someday?
I've tried to do it. It's hard. A curated online collection it's a big endeavor to try to.
Would you be willing to host it with your mainframe, Doug?
Yeah.
We might want to venture down that. It was just it would take people like myself with free time to go around and ask people for donations.
Well, I mean, you already have a huge amount of recordings, and I'm sure Devin has a bunch. Mm-hmm. The big problem is giving people credit. Do they want credit? Do they want their names?
Yeah, right.
It'd be better just to them all be anonymous in different categories.
Well, the context of the recording is part of the story too. That we can't eliminate. We need to know.
Right, but that could be done later. That can be serial numbered, and then that they could then look up the explanation for it.
The Macaulay Library of Sound does a pretty good job of documenting and saying who recorded it, where it was recorded, time of day, those kinds of things. And the unfortunate thing is that in their recordings, they request that you have a visual identifier. Yeah. So in other words, you have to see it make that vocalization, which we're not going to be able to do with Sasquatch. So we just do the best we can, I suppose.
But I think if a serial number could be applied.
Everything is documented. I mean, everything is documented, but until the powers that be want to say that it exists, it's not going to.
Yeah, I'm with you, Mike. I'm not too concerned whether people believe it or not. I just want to get it out there that, hey, this is a possibility. Well, let's talk about it.
Even if it was the best horn type metallic recordings, the best whoops, the best, you know what I mean? The best wood knocks, it would at least allow scientists to have access to it for at least a starting point.
Sure.
Even that would be nice.
That point has been around for a long time, and it's been hidden. They're there. I've seen them. It doesn't matter. They've hidden it. We're not going to fix that by talking right now. It is just the way it is, and we just have to just wait till somebody decides that we need to know about it.
But you guys realize, Mike, there's also a jillion people out there that are just regular people. They're not scientists.
Yeah, there are two branches.
They're just people that saw Bigfoot cross in front of their car and now are looking for answers.
Yeah, exactly. But they saw it pass in
front of their car. They saw it, but they still want answers. That doesn't stop the questions. It just begins them in many cases.
Yeah, but the answer, but all those questions have been answered. They've just been hidden from all of us.
Right.
And we keep asking. We keep trying to figure out the questions that they've already been answered.
Yeah.
And which just drives me nuts. I mean, everything is just a joke when we already know. I've seen it. I know most of you guys know it's there.
Yeah.
But we keep talking about it because they don't want us to know about it.
Well, but Mike, I don't think David's point is about trying to prove anything to anybody. What we want to do
I agree.
Yeah, what Doug is suggesting is we share the evidence that we've collected, in this case, audio evidence, because there are a lot of people that do want to hear those sounds.
But see, Jeff Meldrum, everybody's been doing this for 20 years, and it doesn't matter. We end up at the same place every time.
No. I've evolved dramatically on my position on Sasquatch versus 15 years ago.
Well, I know you have, but the scientific community hasn't.
Well, we're not worried about them.
Others will evolve as well.
I know, but think about it. well, no matter what we do, it really doesn't matter much.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, why do you care that other people aren't convinced?
Yeah, see, I don't.
Okay, then you should have no objection to Doug's suggestion.
Yeah, probably right. But we keep wanting to try to find proof of what we're talking about today, and it kind of bothers me because it doesn't matter what we do, nobody's going to believe it.
Oh,
well,
if you think
I'm not trying to find proof. I'm just trying to share evidence.
Okay, well, okay, good then.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's a mystery that's not going away, Mike.
No, it ain't going away. I tell you that.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? We could share all this evidence, and it turns out we're actually recording Dogman. Oh my God!
Oh God! Here we go. Devin said it again.
Devin said it again.
It's the second time. I think he's been watching Vic.
Yeah, this must be true. He secretly does.
Not me.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, don't pay me with that brush.
No, we're just joking.
Just kidding, too.
It's a drinking game. We've invented a new drinking game. Every time Devin says
you never know
Dogman, everybody takes a shot.
You never know what you're going to find.
Okay.
But anyhow, but if you guys are...
Watch.
Yeah, but if you guys are interested in somehow at least getting a start on that, we'd be willing to host it. And the nice thing is it gets backed up literally every day, and it's a huge, massive computer. And we'd love to host it.
That would be, Devin, I think some of my original recordings that I recorded in 2010 on a different medium than I'm using now, I think those files are now defunct. So, this may be a way of protecting ourselves if it goes to an independent source.
Yeah, agree.
So we're not dependent upon the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got almost everything I ever heard backed up somewhere, but hard drives do go bad and things like that.
Right. So, Doug, if you're willing, we'll have to call it Hangar
I'm not
One.
willing. I got to get Alex to volunteer.
Oh, okay.
You know how this works.
Oh, boy.
It's Dad calling his son going, you
better be careful. A lot of people have been disappearing lately.
That's true. Oh, my God. But I just think that there, like, you can go listen to the Moorhead Sound samples, or you can buy the DVD. But other than that, you go on YouTube, you can look. But it'd be really cool to have a depository of the different categories, at least some examples, the best. Why put the worst ones they can barely hear? Why not just put the best ones in? And then an email where if there's a scientist that wants more, they can write us.
Yeah, and like you said, then they're preserved. They're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah,
right.
that'd
be cool.
That's one nice thing. Yeah, because we're not all going to live forever.
And if we focus just on the best, or what I call consumer grade audio, it's not a big number.
No,
right.
Most 95% of what I have, is not shareable because you have to have a developed ear to really appreciate some of these recordings. So.
Yeah, and the spectrographs make a big difference too. That can weed out known stuff pretty quick.
Well, I want to talk about the last thing I want to cover is the sound called the whoop, right? The whoop. It sounds, if a regular person hears a whoop in the woods, he just instantly goes, it's some bird or it's some other animal. But God bless all the people that have tried to come up with an animal that whoops. Devin, what are your thoughts on the whoop? Because it's such a unique sound.
It is very unique. And the closest thing I've ever been able to come up to it, two things. One, at great distance, a coyote yip can sound like a whoop. And that's just because if it were closer, you'd clearly hear the yip. But over distance, the sound erodes, and it can sound a little bit like a whoop. The other is it's a wading bird that's found in like Georgia, Alabama, Florida, called a sora. and that makes something like a whoop sound, but that's only in those areas. So it's a very unique sound, and it's often accompanied by other vocals, like the clip we heard earlier, 3 moan howls, 2 whoops. Okay. It's the whoops association with other high probability Sasquatch vocals is what tells me that the whoop is definitely a classic Sasquatch sound.
I've got one for you.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard the Cherokee war cry?
Not specifically. I've heard the Hollywood versions of war cries.
I've had somebody pass on to me recorded at one of their gatherings. Somebody did the war cry. It is the Ohio howl followed by 2 whoops.
Wow. I never heard
which
that.
You've got recorded, Devin. We played it tonight.
Okay.
So
the
which came first, the chicken or the egg?
Yeah,
good question.
So are we imitating Sasquatch for our war cry, which could instill fear in people if they were familiar with Sasquatches?
Mm-hmm. I would assume the human would imitate the Sasquatch.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly.
That they would imitate the Sasquatch to instill fear.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Have you studied throat singing at all, Devin?
Yeah, I've definitely collected a few clips of that and some examples. And it's interesting, unique. I don't see a lot of correlation with Sasquatch vocalizations. But
the only thing I kind of do sort of is in the tumbas per sound a little bit. But it's a dual range.
There is one of the sounds of the Sierra sounds that has this tenor or quality to it. I have a recording that I captured off the internet that I compared the two. And I think we played that last week, Doug. But there's some sort of throat singing type quality to one of the vocalizations in the Sierra sounds.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and listen for it.
It's just.
I think I should send you that clip.
One wonders why throat singing was developed. You have to wonder what was the reason.
Dating.
Okay, Devin said dating. Get that in the record.
Why else would a dude sing other than get a date?
Dating.
It's always a solid theory, no question.
Devin said throat singing is.
At least he didn't say imitating Dogman.
Yeah, imitating Dogman.
Not going there.
Caillou's asking. He's I'm going to change your name, Tristan, to Mr. Question. You remind me of me when I was about 10, driving my dad crazy.
But
I love your question. I'm just kidding you. What about baboon sounds?
Well, you're aware of the fact that I found a baboon bark video on the internet that it sounds like something is saying wahoo. And that just kind of got me. The reason that I was even found it, I was looking to find if there was more about Daniel Boone killing a Yahoo, the mythology regarding that. And that popped that video, wahoo. Well, then I went back and I found like 10 or 12 recordings of that specific sound from all over North America. So that is one of the sounds that I follow, the baboon bark.
And with that baboon bark comment, we are going to go.
Wrap things up. All right, everybody, hang tight.
Wrap things up.
Don't go anywhere. I'll play our wisdom quick. So everybody, just hang tight. We'll be right back.
It's now time for Untold Radio AM Wisdom of the Week. Sometimes what feels like bad luck is just a disguised detour leading you towards something better. A setback, A delay or a missed opportunity might force you down a path you never planned, only to discover later it was the perfect place you needed to be. In hindsight, what seemed like a negative twist often sets the stage for unexpected growth, new connections, or opportunities you wouldn't have found otherwise. Good night. We hope to see you all next week. If you like the show tonight, please consider giving us a thumbs up, leaving a nice comment, and most of all, subscribing and hitting the bell so you will be notified when a new episode is dropping. Also, please share this episode. Now back to Doug and Jeff for our wrap.
Well, we lost Michael, but thanks to him for coming on.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. And thank you, Caillou, for all of your questions.
Yes, great questions.
We love them.
Absolutely.
But man, he does have a lot of them. It's but that's the kind of curiosity that I actually like to see.
That's why we're all here.
That is why we are here. Lord knows he thought of a lot of questions I wouldn't have thought of. So thank you so much, Devin, for coming on.
Yes.
My pleasure. Thanks
sharing your very logical thoughts on everything. And we'd love to get you back on. And I have the Texas Bigfoot recording. I think Michael is happy we send that to you.
Yep, I got his permission. I sent that to both to you and to David to analyze.
Oh, thank you.
Yep, I sent you the original clip.
So thank you so much, David, too.
Yes.
Thanks, Devin. I appreciate you coming on short notice. Haven't seen you in a couple of years. We have to stop meeting this way.
Yeah, definitely. And it's good to see you again and catch up with you, Dave.
And mainly just no more Dogman talk.
Yeah.
And thanks again to Mike Mullen. Thank you for coming on. I guess I don't know where he went, but thank you so much for coming on. It was great.
Thanks, guys. And we'll be back next week.
Yep.
Same time, same
right.
place. All right.
Good night,
everybody. Good night.
I call you up in the middle of the night. Been bothered by dreams, ain't feeling alright. You give me comfort, say just give it some time. By the end of our talk, I'm feeling just fine. You and I will always know where we belong. This ain't no ordinary love we got going on. I'll pick you up in my 59 Ford. We head on down the road until we get bored. Just you and me and the sun and the wind. If the rain should start